All right, here we are. I'm all napped up and ready to go. Got, let's see, what is it? 55S roll. Got it ready to go. Oh, wait a minute. I have to activate my camera. Let's see here. Get this thing activated. Okay, there we go. Let me scoot it in just a little bit there. Alright, here we go. Hello, Mr. Adams. Sorry I had to bow out there for a while, but I wasn't even making sense to myself. I get on these benders where I have to work to keep things going, and I end up not paying enough attention to me. Alright, so we've got everything set up. I'm good to go. And here I go with a 55S roll. I like 55S. 55S is relatively simple. It's not a hard issue to deal with. And you have a number of pretty nice looking varieties to look for that are actually rather well known. I mean, all of them are pretty straight up. All right, here we go. Let me get started here. Coin number 1 goes to Mr. Fletcher. This will be Mr. Fletcher's coin. Hoping for some good repunchment marks or double die or something real nice. Watching the eyelid area for DDO number 1. There aren't any known double die reverses, so we'll look at the first 10 coins on the back side too, just to be sure we're not missing anything. I'll back out some more on these coins because it's like I said earlier. When you see them, you know them. So here we go. How are things going, sissy? I mailed 2 boxes to you today. And one of them's rather heavy, and the other one's not so heavy. And the reason the other one's not so heavy is because I accidentally left out like 14 rolls or more. Now I've got a package of rolls sitting here. I've got a vacuum package of rolls sitting here waiting to go to you. I was going to ask you if it's okay if I mail them to you next week. After our next auction. You probably have enough to keep you busy for a while anyway. Alright, that's coin number 1. Let me move on to coin number 2. Well, I mean, you know, there's one thing that's definitely a given. It's safe here. It's among friends. More rolls here than I know what to do with. More rolls here that I've already sold to other people than I know what to do with. Okay, I appreciate it, sissy. Thank you. Well, if I'm going to mess up with somebody's stuff, I better do it with somebody who's nice, right? Here's number 3, Bo Palmer. I know as Bo showed up a little bit earlier thinking that I was going to be there. But I, unfortunately, had to nap it out for a little bit. I had a headache, and I was kind of tired. I was so out of it, I wasn't really even paying attention to what I was saying. And I have no idea what I might have said that didn't make any sense. My apologies to anyone who noticed it. Okay, that's coin number 3. Got nothing in here so far. That I don't like. Let's see what we have. Coin number 4. This one's the same as a previous die that I've already seen in this roll. I'm watching the die markers. Those die scratches just to the west of the S are showing me that I've seen this die before. But we're going to take a look at the reverse anyway, just to make absolutely certain we're not missing anything. 1955 S versus 1955 Philadelphia. That's like two completely different animals. We're talking about giraffes and mountain lions. These are always pretty nice. They're usually quite clean in appearance. Usually earlier die state. Here's one of the reasons I can tell you why that's true. They stopped minting coins, or they stopped minting Lincoln cents anyway. I can't say all coins, but Lincoln cents they stopped minting in San Francisco in March of 1955. They didn't mint Lincoln cents even throughout the year in 1955 in San Francisco. They gave up early, and I don't know that that really has anything to do with the die state of the individual coins, but their quality control was definitely on point. Oop, there you go. There's a buy starting on that one. Buy, B-I-E, being what it appears that when you have a die break between the B and the E of Liberty, it looks like the letter I. And so we call it a buy die break, B-I-E. It, of course, is nothing more than a die break. And this one is the beginning of such an animal. This one's for Sureg. Yeah, Bo, I'm not actually. I am late, but I'm not. It's a planned tardiness. That's how that works. I had planned on having dinner at about this time, but I had lunch at 2:30, so I don't really need dinner this evening. I'll eat when I'm done. But I have 2 more reveals to do this evening. Get everything all finished up for the day. I have about 10 more packages to wrap that'll go out in the mail tomorrow. And I'm leaving at about 7 o'clock in the morning for Florida. So it means a few things. One, I'm going to get to see my father again, which is a good thing. I'm going to get to visit with Eric. I'm actually going to get to visit with Kelly Ray. And, well, Sissy's still snubbing me because she's never home. Can't find her in Florida. I'll have to go see her at the lake sometime, I guess. Wow, nothing so far in this roll of 55S. That's kind of unusual, actually. Here's one for Sissy. Let's see if Sissy gets anything out of here. And a little bit of grease filling on the last 5 of the date. That it's a little bit plugged up. Either that. No, this is actually, I'm believing, a weaker strike. The whole face is affected. This is one of those buy coins again. Oh, you're going to be home on the 7th? Well, doy. This is a weak strike. It's a more weakly struck coin than usual. I'm going to weigh this one. Just because I can. I'm thinking there's some chance that this could be underweight. So I am going to weigh it for you, Sissy, and see what it does. Oh, I have to give it the proper... There we go, grams. No, it's still, hang on. There we go, grams. No, 3.045 grams. So it's just barely underweight. Not by enough to make a difference. So it's pretty normal. In other words, it's just slightly understruck. Hey, Eric. And there's Carl. Hello, Carl. There's an RPM number 5. Hit that just as I popped that other one on the scale and was complaining about not finding anything in the row, and here we go. There's an RPM number 5 for you right there. 1mm005 it is. It's all that gunk down below the mint mark. That's actually the lower serif of yet another mint mark. Golf course duty, huh? My little nap had me wake up with a little bit of a sniffle. I'm fine, though. So that's coin number 10. Here's coin number 11. This one goes to Kelly Ray. This is where we stop looking at the reverses because, well, there's just generally not much of a point. Got some nice looking coins here. We're just not much for introducing die varieties today here. How about number 12, Mr. Fletcher? After this reveal, I will have to take a break because I have to prepare for my HOA meeting. Have to attend my HOA meeting. It's at 6:30 local time, which is in 1 hour from now, which means I won't have time to get another reveal in before the HOA meeting, so I will come back after the HOA meeting to do our last 2 reveals for the evening. I have to do my doodly thing for my neighborhood. I was just watching a video earlier today. Sometimes I watch videos while I'm filling orders. And this video was about a place called Pythian Castle. Pythian Castle is actually a large home that was built by the Order of Pythias in Springfield, Missouri in 1913. And it was built originally as an orphanage and an old folks home for members of their group, which I guess it was like the Masons. It was kind of an odd fellow society type group. But this is a huge building. Well, not huge. I mean, it's like, go look it up. Pythian, Pythian, Pythian Castle, Springfield, Missouri. It is known to be a haunted location, and I like watching the paranormal investigations that they do there. So this place during World War II was taken over by the Army, and it served as a holding place for higher level officials from the German Army, from the Nazi Army. And so there were Nazi officials held there during the war. Header Coin Dragon. There's Kelly Ray, too. You guys can see who these are going to, so I am refraining from necessarily saying anything. Let's get this in place here. There we go. And I'll continue with my story. Anyhow, they say that there is a German officer or officers, ghosts in the basement where the prisoners were held during the war. There's actually an interrogation room that's an old stone room. It's underground. It's like a dungeon in this castle. It's in Springfield, Missouri. You don't believe me? Go look it up. It's real. Well, so I was in this place, I didn't know until I was actually in there that anyone who can speak German fluently enough to make the ghost think that you're a German, they're supposed to reply to you. They're supposed to, that's the only time they'll make their presence known, is when someone's speaking German. Well, anyhow, I went in there and I was asking him questions in German. And, of course, I didn't actually see anything, but my wife and I were in the very corner of this room. This was back in 2010. My wife and I were in the very corner of the room. I mean, the very corner. She was backed up into the corner of the room. People all around the edge of the room. And a chair, an empty chair in the middle. And so we had a session that was called a EVP session, electronic voice something. Anyhow, they wanted someone who could speak German to ask the guy questions so that perhaps, maybe, he would make his presence known. And so we got in there, had lights on. Everybody lined up along the wall. My wife and I just happened to file into the very corner of the room. And they turned all the lights off. It was pitch black dark. And I was speaking with this entity in German with no lights on. And as I was wrapping up the session, speaking with him, asking him questions about his past, about where he was from, and I mean, it's just all what kind of unit he was with, and all that, my wife was pushed from behind. She was leaning against a stone wall corner. There's no way anyone could have fit behind her. But she was pushed from behind. It kind of brushed up against her jacket and pushed her arm all at the same time. That was weird. But this was in the Pythian Castle. Anyhow, I was watching a film earlier today of one of the paranormal investigations that was going on in the Pythian Castle. And I was told, when I was actually there, that if you speak broken German or junk German, you know, the American style, one or two words here and there, it won't do any good. You have to be able to speak more or less fluent German, which I could. But the guy in this video, who was their official interpreter, was trying to, I guess, fool his way into making people believe he was speaking German in this video, because, oh, look at there. You got a clash mark with a, there's a clash mark right there of a wheat stem. That's pretty cool. Clash mark of the wheat stem is not going to be a very common thing. Let's see if the other one is in there. No, see, I don't see the other one at all. But that one's definitely there. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. In fact, that's about the only part that is clashed. That's kind of different. Interesting. Anyhow, he asked this entity. Well, another guy says, ask him what his name is. And so this guy says, what was it he asked him? Oh, he said, Wie haben Sie? Wie haben Sie? I'm thinking, dude, you didn't ask him what his name is. You asked him what he has. Wie haben Sie is what do you have? said, dude, you don't speak German at all. No wonder this guy's not replying to you. You don't even speak German. Wie haben Sie? If you're going to say, what is your name? It's wie heißen Sie? Wie heißen Sie is what is your name? Weird. Anyhow, I found it kind of, I don't know, enthralling to watch this video where they had told me when I was there that you had to speak fluent German to this thing or it would not reply. And I don't know if it replied or not. I'm not sure what it did when I was there. The people recording the EVP thing, I never saw them again, so I had no idea whether I was successful in bringing this guy out of the lurch or not. But I can tell you that I was worried that my German sucked too much for him to want to reply to me. And then here they've got this video on YouTube where this guy's speaking German with this entity, and he's not even asking the right questions. His accent was horrible, and he wasn't asking the right question. And his German sounded more like almost like Hitler trying to give a speech while drunk than anything else. It didn't sound really like German at all. It was weird. But that this morning when I was watching that video, it completely cleared up my thought that my German wasn't good enough to raise this entity to speak to the EVP people. Ich kann Deutsch sprechen, aber es ist nicht gut genug für ein Deutscher. That's a lot better than what that guy was saying. A lot more complete sentences. Complete thoughts. Let's see here. I didn't mean to bore anybody with my little stories, but sometimes I just break out in song. I don't sing, I just talk. So I let that one bounce on the desk just a little bit because I wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear Frau Bleuscher. I should have said something like, Haben Sie Hasen hier? You have rabbits in here? Haben Sie Raben? Oh, I see. I didn't see Young Frankenstein, so that kind of passed me. All the horse run in fear. Yeah, I'm thinking I didn't get it because I never saw that movie. I think is that the one that had Gene Wilder in it? I was not a fan. Yeah, it was Gene Wilder. Okay. Yeah, I really never was much of a Gene Wilder fan. I didn't like his Willy Wonka, and I tried to watch Blazing Saddles. The only time I ever really saw it was at the drive-in theater with my parents when I was a kid. Believe it or not. Parents all worried about me growing up a bad person, yet they let me watch Blazing Saddles. Yeah, you want to eat beans now? I don't even know. You guys are going way over my head. I'm just a guy that flips the coins over. I don't know anything. Well, there might be more than 3 of us that get it. I know I don't, but there might be others. They're just not replying. They figure you guys have it all handled just fine. Here goes number 36, Mr. Fletcher. You know, I'm looking for a second variety to come out of this roll. And we're not having any luck here. Now, Carl, when you say 2 of the coin boards, do you mean a pair? Because they come in pairs. Because the whole point to them, or one of the entire points to it, is so that you can use one to put on top of the other and flip them over. So they come in pairs. Do you want 2 boards or 2 pairs? Two pairs. Okay. Well, let me talk with my friend down the street and see if he's prepped up and ready to make something like that, and we can talk about it, and I can go down there and we can make it a day project sometime. Because I'm leaving for Florida early tomorrow, it's not going to happen until after I return from Florida, which will be mid next week. So give me a little bit of time. We'll get it all prepped up, and I'll let everybody know. But I will definitely remember you, Carl. Gosh, I'm going to make it all the way through this roll and only have 1 RPM to speak for. That's depressing. $55S is usually a little more productive than that. I have a couple of 55S Lincoln cents going into NGC for possible 67 grade. Let's see if it works out that way. Yeah, as soon as I get this to a point where we're ready to rock and roll, I'm going to work on getting them kind of broadcast out to everybody on Facebook so that they can order too. I'm going to make them in dime size and nickel size as well. That's the only problem with making these out of wood, is that you only get one size. So if a person wants one that'll work for nickels, dimes, and pennies, he has to order 3 pairs. 1 for nickels, 1 for dimes, and 1 for pennies. Well, these guys are still rocking on with their references to some movie I never saw. Marty Feldman. I think I remember Marty Feldman as playing the Igor character in that. I know who the people are. It's just that it falls short with me because I never actually watched the movie. I tried a couple of times. In fact, I remember bringing it up on Netflix one time, I think, or something like that. And I just didn't like it. Couldn't finish it. Igor. Oh, Malcolm. Maybe you'll play with me. All these other guys are, they're talking about some movie I never watched. Gosh, we're almost done with this roll. I really expected this to be a little better than it is. I guess we just got to do 55S once in a while and pop these open and see what's in them. But this roll's got really nice coins in it. It just doesn't have any die varieties. And it's got one RPM number 5. One example of 1mm005, and that's it. I see nothing else in here at all. Got nothing at all. Need to find something, Carl. We've only got 4 coins left in the roll. This one's for Paul. See if we can get something to pop up here for Paul. Nothing there. Okay, number 48. Back to Sissy again. Nothing there. Got 2 coins remaining. Only 2 coins remain in this roll. And let's see what we get. Well, this is number 49, and it is the same die as the last coin I popped off of here. So Taco John gets a pretty nice looking normal coin, and here is coin number 50. It goes to Stephen A. And Stephen A will get that's an RPM. This one is a minor east RPM. It's not easy to see unless I cover over the light a little bit. Let me zoom in here. We've got a little bit of time left. You can see a part of the extra curve here and part of the upper serif here. I think this is number 11. I think it's 1mm11. I believe, anyway. But this is the end of the line, folks. Last coin in the roll. All right. Well, we've got 2 RPMs in this roll. One goes to Steven, the other one goes to Taco John, and the rest of the entire roll is just a roll of pennies. But it's a nice one. And so, nothing left. I am going to take off, get my work done for the neighborhood, and probably about 8 o'clock or so, I will be back with the 1951D. What time do I have these? Let me see what I've got these scheduled for. I don't want to show my schedule, so I'll kill this here. Let's see what time I've got it scheduled for. That's not what I want to see. Do what I mean, not what I say. Here we go. Get my calendar up here so I can see what I'm doing. I have them scheduled for 8 and 9. 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock Eastern time. I plan on being up until close to midnight packing tonight. So I've got a little bit of time to go down and throw some stuff in a suitcase and get my packing started. So I'll see you guys in, what is it, about 2.5 hours, something like that. All right. I appreciate it. You guys take care of yourselves. Peace and love to all, and I'll see you then.